Hello guys, Daddy Bear here. Today I'm going to teach you how to code for the USB Rubber Ducky. The USB Rubber Ducky is just a little piece of hardware that has a port on it that supports a micro SD card, and usually if you order it straight from the Hack5 shop it'll come with one, but if not you can easily get one from Walmart or someplace like that. So I'm going to teach you the syntax. We're going to build a project together, and then I'm going to show you how to upload and download different scripts from different users from the website, and I'll also give you some good websites to go to. So first let's go ahead and open up Atom or whatever software that you decide to use for coding. It could even be Notepad, that doesn't really matter, but I like Atom. It's very open source, so you can change a lot of things about it. It's very user friendly and it has a lot of different things that I enjoy. So let's take a little bit to load on here though. So let's go ahead and get rid of my project. I'm just going to open up a new file. I'm going to name it Untitled. Let's close all these windows out. That was for a Wi-Fi Pineapple application. So the syntax is very, very simple. If you want to actually write out something, it's going to be under string. So this is where we'll type out our hello world kind of thing like that. Now to press the enter key, all you have to do is enter. That's all you need to do for that. It just presses the enter button. So sometimes between turns you kind of want to wait for a second, and that can be done by the delay command, and then you enter however many milliseconds you want. If you want it to wait 1 second, it's of course 1000, but you can always go 1 or 100, stuff like that. Usually I stick to 500. It has a good mix, unless you're uploading files to an FTP server, or if you're waiting on something that might take a long time, then I would recommend doing the 1000 milliseconds. Also, if you want more time than 1 second, you can actually chain these. So that would be 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and you just keep going over and over. But I usually stick to 1 or 2 seconds. That does more than enough. So if you want to do different key combinations, such as your command shift or your command A, if you're on Linux, that brings up your search bar, you'll just go ahead and GUI and then the letter. For us, I'm using Mac, so we're definitely going to use the space, the command and space button, and you'll see why in a few minutes. So other than these, this is pretty much all you'll probably be using. You might use a few more. So we have some websites that I'll put in the description below. This is a FTP server. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a second. So this website, USB Rubber Ducky, this is pretty much the home base for everything you'll need. It'll show you where to get your payloads, how to write Ducky script, where to get the encoders, and they actually have an online encoder that we're going to be using as well. Then of course you have your community edition, your VID and PID swapper, which would be pretty useful if you want to get past some antivirus software that checks that. And then you have your FAQ and your stuff like that. So next we'll be moving on to this website, which I'll also put in the description below. It teaches you all the syntax. I also forgot to mention rem. Rem is a comment. So if you're going to comment something out, like for instance, this is a script, then you'll use rem in front of it. And I use that in the script that we're going to build together in order to comment some lines of code out. So in some cases when we put it on the website, then the user can look at it and actually go in here into the little coding thing and change it around. So let's go back to this. So default delay at the very beginning, what will give you kind of a set amount or a standard amount of time between each command that you set. So if you put a string command and then enter, the default delay will kick in, and if you put the default delay at 100, then it'll wait for 100 milliseconds before it hits enter. And that can be really useful if you're debugging, or if you're going to work on a system that takes a little bit of time to run commands, because it's actually safer to put in a little delay rather than having the USB Rubber Ducky right to the terminal, and before it gets done, or before it registers on the terminal screen, hit enter and it doesn't know what the heck's going on. So delay, we already went over that. That just adds a little bit of delay, a little bit of wait time. String, we went over that. It goes through A through Z, lowercase, uppercase, numbers, any special characters you might have, any operands, and pipe, your pipe, which is, for those of you who don't know, would be this button. So it's all pretty simple. So Windows or GUI. GUI is just easier to type out. That will be your Windows key or your command key if you're on Mac. Menu or app, it emulates the app key. Sometimes you'll use this for like Shift F10 if you're on Windows, or right click. So this, you could emulate that by using the app or the menu. So, and for instance, like if we right clicked on that, then you can usually see some sort of either arrow combination or letter combination, and that'll help you there. Now your shift, you'll just type shift, and then you can either press one of the buttons like ASDF, or you can combine it with your delete, your home, insert, escape, tab, stuff like that. Your alt command, it's going to be for the alt key or for your alt combinations. So for instance, they put alt F in here, but we're not going to use that in the script we're making. It's going to be pretty simple script. However, it'll be somewhat interesting. Your friends will like it if you build it. Now you have your control. That's going to take control of your control key combinations, which I'm pretty sure we're going to use one. Then you have your arrow keys and your extended commands. Now I'm not going to go through all these, but I will put the page in the description below so that you can go through it and read all this stuff. So let's actually get back to the online encoder, because we're going to be using this a lot. From this website, you can encode your scripts, or you can decode scripts from stuff you already have on your computer. You can upload scripts to the page, and we're going to be building this one that I just uploaded today, and this will we'll go through this in a second, but you can just control copy and go into the encoder and paste it, or you can share a script, which is just like encoding, except it uploads a script to the website for everyone to use, and you might find this useful. One of my other projects I'm going to be working on this week is to create a ping sweep script, so that you can just go into secured networks, plug it into a computer, and ping sweep the network. But that's not the one we're going to be working on today. We're going to be working on a little utility that scans all your network interfaces, like your wireless cards or your Ethernet ports, and it will put those on a file, and then it will upload those to an FTP server of your choice, And then after it uploads, it'll go back into the directory and delete all the files that you made. And then it'll just quit without leaving the terminal open. And that's one thing that I found. A couple of these people did not put that at the end, so it kind of defeats the purpose of you being sneaky peeky. So I'll teach you how to do all that. So we'll open this for reference, and you can open up your favorite program, and we'll get started. Now, first things first, what you kind of want is a reference of the of your quit keys or your quit commands on your computer, just so you know, just to make it easier. And if it does get a bit difficult, you can always exit out of here and do the key combinations to familiarize yourself with them. We're going to code this for OS X. The version that I put online, it is for both OS X and Linux, and some of the pieces you will comment out or uncomment. We want it to open up a terminal. So, I don't know if your computer does this, if your Mac does this or not, but mine gets this really annoying message whenever I plug in a keyboard or something, and it shows up a pop-up that says set up your keyboard. So we're going to get around this. So I'm just going to hit enter a few times. And actually, before this, I should have thought this over. Let's put a delay of 1 second. That way, when we plug it in, it's not freaking out. It has a little bit of time to register. So after this, we'll go ahead and hit our quit combinations. So once that window pops up, we can just exit out of it. I'm still trying to work a way around this because sometimes it will actually quit a process. Like if I was in Firefox and I just plugged it in the computer, it would quit Firefox, but I'm still coming up with a way out of that. So we'll delay this for half a second, and then we'll go ahead and give this key combination. This opens up the Spotlight search for us. So once that's up, we'll type in the string terminal, hit enter, and then we'll give it a little bit of time, 100 milliseconds to start up and get everything ready. So if you're not really familiar with terminal commands, that's totally fine. You can easily look them up. You can just Google search them. For us, we're just going to ifconfig, and we're going to move that into a file called intscan.txt. Forgot to put the string maybe dum. Okay, so after you type that in, we're going to press enter, and we'll go ahead and delay. You don't really have to do this delay. I do it just in case the host computer's slow. This will give it a little bit of time and you won't fail and wreck the rest of the script. So after that, I forgot what the thing is for the IW config if you're a Linux guy. But you'll notice that this is a bit different on Mac, and I'm not sure what the command is, so if you do know, please let me know in the comments, and then we'll enter as well. We'll delay another 100 milliseconds. Alright, so now we have our files. We got our files in our root directory. So now we want to upload them to our FTP server. I'm sorry, I have an account at this website. So, and if it's easier for you to actually type the command and then go back and type string, that's fine too. That's kind of easier for me, that's why I keep doing it. So I'll go ahead and do this command, and typing this command, actually I'll go ahead and open up terminal alongside us so you can see what this does. Okay, so now we have a little terminal window, and so when we type FTP and then our FTP server, it will connect us to the FTP server, but we also have to log in. So, actually, let's not. We'll delay, just in case. I didn't have any issue with this, but I might, and it's better to be expecting the worst than to hope for the best. So now once you're in the FTP screen right here, we want our username and our password. We want to enter it in, and I will probably change my password just so you guys don't get any ideas. But here's my account. Okay. And then we'll enter. And then we'll delay for a few seconds, or a few milliseconds, my bad. Just to get it up to scratch. And then we will enter our password when prompted, which mine is a very, very secure password, as you can see. But it's all in the meaning of a video. We'll wait a couple milliseconds. See, this is actually pretty simple. You just have to know a couple commands and a couple macros, but that's about it. So what we want to do, let's log in and okay. See, username okay. Now you need the password. We'll just enter our very, very secure password here, and we're in. For these, you can actually check your directories, or you can CD into a directory. For us, just to make things simpler, we're going to make a directory. So for that, you have to mkdir, and then the name of the directory you want to make. For us, we'll name it nscan. Now enter, delay for just a second to get the computer up to scratch. And then now that we made that directory, we are going to have to go into it. So cd into this directory, and then we can start the file transfer. Now the file transfer commands are very, very, very difficult. You ready? It's going to be really hard. Put. That's it. And then the file name, of course, but. So we're going to put this file, nscan.txt, that we just made up here by checking our ifconfig. We're going to put that into the FTP server. And if you're a Linux nerd, well, actually, let's delay this a couple seconds, 1 second, just in case, because you never know how much data is going to be in that file. So you want to give it maybe a second to upload the whole thing into the server. So now, if we did this on Linux, we would have our IW config, but since we're on Mac, we don't. I'm just going to do this for sake of, just for the sake of the Linux users that are going with us. Well, let's wait a second for that to get uploaded as well. And now that we have both of our files uploaded into our FTP server, let's go ahead and exit out. So after we're done, we'll end up at this prompt right here, and to get out of it, just type exit. So now let's string exit, and then of course center. And we don't even have to delay because it didn't really give us much, but I will put it just in case we get stuck on a computer. So now we want to make our traces gone. We don't want anything there. We want to be sneaky beaky. So just in case you are not in your starting directory, we'll hit cd, and then we're going to enter the command rm, and we're going to delete these files. and I'm sorry if I'm ungodly slow, I'm just horrible at this. Or I'm just a slow typer. So let's wait half a second for everything to get done with. And then if you're on Linux, you just have to type exit, enter, and then you're done. It closes out. However, as Mac users, we have our command quit function. So for this, remember, you have to put GUI and then Q so that it presses our command button and the Q button at the same time. And we don't even need to put anything after that. This is done. So I made a drive just for us to test it out. So to get this uploaded on here, or to get this compiled, what you're gonna do, go ahead, get all this copied. So copy, go in here, and then you either share script or encoder. For now, we'll just put encoder. And then paste right there. Now you have to select your language. The default is GB, but if you're watching this from the US, you're just gonna have to go into the list and hit United States. And then generate script. Say, yeah, you're not gonna use it for any illegal purposes, and then you have your inject.bin. So putting it on a USB is really, really simple. If you got it from Hack5, then you'll have one USB dongle to pretty much inject systems and one to edit the files. So let's go into Finder. No name. Oh, that's us. So I already have this on here. So we're not going to delete the one I have. However, all you have to do is click on inject.bin, or if you want the text file, if you want this part right here that we wrote for later usage, or if you want to edit it a little further, then you can go ahead and download the text file as well. What I usually do is I make a folder and put both of these in the folder so that I can go back and either use them, like put it back on my flash drive, or just give them to people if they need it. So we're done there. Did it check it properly, you weirdo. And then you can't see me right now because I didn't use my crappy camera, which has its ups because you can actually see what I'm doing. But I'm putting it in the little USB drive, closing it up, and then once I plug it in the computer, you'll see exactly what happens. So we'll close out of this, we'll close out of that, and we'll go ahead, Command Q this, and we'll Command Q Chrome. So now we're at my desktop, or the target user's desktop, in air quotes, and we'll plug this thing in. Okay, so now plugged it right in. I don't know what happened earlier, that was weird. But now it takes on our keyboard. And usually if the monitor's off, they won't see what's going on. So, looks like our transfer was completed. So now we went back into the directory and deleted those files. In a closed out terminal, we don't even have the running process here anymore. Alright, so let's go back here. This is my FTP server that I just have with Drive HQ. As you can see from my storage, I don't have that folder, but let's go ahead and reload this page. As you can see, I actually have a new folder on here called InScan. And once we open that, we'll open up our text file, and we have all of our scanning info. Here's our Ethernet EN1 and our internet address, of course, right here. This is internal, it'll deal with NAT, so all your internet scans, all your IP sweeps, they're going to be from internal, they're not going to be external. So right after this video, looks like I'm changing my my password, and then of course go into user scripts and pick out any one you want. There's some pretty funny ones on here, some pretty interesting ones. So Wi-Fi credentials, and some of these you'll have to reflash your USB Rubber Ducky. Or what you could do instead of doing that is just change some of these commands, because you already know how to do that, and change some of these so that you can upload it to FTP instead of having to save it to the duck. And because it's Wi-Fi credentials, you're easily going to be connected to the internet. So I'll give you guys all these URLs in the description below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below and I'll answer as soon as I can. So thank you very, very much for watching, and have a great day.